It's Auction Monday. First item, we have two objects. This is the F series auction, 2F01. These are both Haze points. I did this one on video. This is made of Florida coastal plains Chert, Chert, I believe. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but sounds like, or it looks like Ocala. And then I made another Haze. This was almost like a practice point, right? The base is a little bit small. So I made another Haze more in line with the photos that I saw. I made this today. It's just regular Texas Chert, amoeba style Chert. It's a little bit crusty in some spots, but otherwise it's pretty good Chert. And easier to nap than this. This Ocala it's heat treated up to about, I think it's 500 degrees. I'm not sure. But anyway, this one is kind of steppy. This Chert's kind of steppy. This one over here is a little bit better. But this one's raw, and this one's heat treated. I believe this is raw, although it's from my old stack of flakes, so could be heat treated as well. I'm not sure. Okay. Next item, two objects, 2F02. These are art points. I made these a long time ago from Texas Edwards Plateau Chert. This one's kind of root beerish. This one here, this longer one. This one's just regular Edwards Plateau. I believe they're both heat treats. You can see how the bases are a little unusual. I made these as patterns. I was going to make arrowheads like this once upon a time for a set of arrows I was contemplating on making. Anyway, they are sharpened around the edges. I'm offering these together. Okay. Now I got a bunch of casts in this particular auction. So here we go with the casts. Two casts here, 2F03. And these are casts made of plastic. Okay, and these are copies of real artifacts. Copies of real artifacts, what they do is they take the real artifact, create a mold from the artifact, and then make these plastic duplicates from the mold. And you can make hundreds of duplicates. All right, this one is a first view. And this one is a Dalton, I believe. But they both have that center ridge looking thing going on. Yeah, this one's a Dalton. And this one's a first view. This one's a Cody complex point, and this is a Dalton type point. All right. I think they look the same color, but I don't think the originals are the same material, right? I think the Dalton's made from Burlington or something, and this is just some other type of Chert. Although I could be wrong, they might be. I don't know. I'll try to find the information on these. I think these particular ones I got from Lithic Casting Lab, but I'm not sure. Sometimes I get casts from other people as well, and I think I made a mistake in the previous auction where I said I got all the casts from Lithic Casting Lab, but I think some of them, especially the andice points, were from somewhere else. If I can find the reference, I'll post it in the video. Okay. I'll also go back to the previous video and see if I can post the reference for the andice points and the other points. One of the cast sites has closed for the season, so I can't see any of their casts online. And I think that's where I got the andice points. But anyway, these are being offered together And if you have questions, just put it in the comments section. Okay. Two casts again. 2F04. Let's see. They're both Dalton types, right? Variations of Daltons. Scott County, Illinois. So it's probably Burlington Chert. And this one says St. Louis County, Missouri. Okay, I forgot what variation of Dalton this one is. Anyway, plastic casts. I'm not sure exactly where I got them. These are casts of real artifacts. And they have similar flaking. That's why I'm kind of grouping these together in pairs. All these casts that are coming up will be in pairs. Yeah. Saves time for me filming the video, and also it's not as much on shipping. I can, give you a break on the shipping, right? 2F05. These two casts are of St. Mary's Hall and Eagle Lake. I think these are both Texas points. Texas style. Now there's ribbon flaking on this one. Again, these are plastic casts. These are not real. These are duplicates of real artifacts. Okay. When you get this one, you'll see that the video doesn't do it justice. This guy really knew how to use the pressure flaker to create this ribbon flaking. But as you can see, it's called, the cross section is biconvex, which means it's a little bit thick and rounded to facilitate those flakes traveling. It's hard to produce this type of pattern on a flat surface. It's better if it's rounded. And that's what they did. They were very careful to make the surface as rounded as possible on the blade. The stem looks like it's not even close to the skill level of the blade. And that's pretty common on artifacts. All right. The stem is just something that you use for the hafting, but the blade is something that was developed to a high degree. Same with this one. The blade is developed to a high degree. Nothing special about the base or the stem. Just concave, couple of flakes. That's it. No notches, no fancy grinding, no fancy ears, nothing. Very simple. And it's kind of lumpy. No big deal. Okay. This one is a little bit flatter than the other one, but the flaking is kind of similar. It's got ribbon flaking. I hope the lighting shows that sufficiently so you can know what you're getting. Let's see. These next two, F2F06, these are both Allen points. I think these are contemporary with Dalton. Okay. Contemporary means same time period. Extremely thin. And probably lots of pressure flaking. That's what's causing the flakes here. Most likely, although some of it may be percussion in the early stages. Some of these might be early stage flakes, like especially the little flute thing here. And maybe some side strikes or percussion, but they finished out with pressure, it looked like. The edge is taken down a lot from the initial percussion or pressure. All right, so that's this one. A little bit better view. Okay. This one here is extremely thin. I mean, insanely thin. Again, the video doesn't do it justice. This is really, really painstakingly made. Again, the stem is no big deal. These thinning flakes from the base are easy to generate, relatively speaking, compared to the blade. The blade is highly refined. It is extremely delicately made. All right, that edge is so thin that you can see that on some areas they could have napped some of these areas, but it was just too thin to continue, it seems. Like they could have napped, sent some more flakes in to clean that up, for example. They didn't do it. There is little step fractures and stuff on the surface. They didn't seem to care. They just wanted the edge extremely thin. And the only way that I'm able to do something even close to this is with excellent material. So this particular material was probably a fluke, in my view, that napped extremely easily. It may be raw, it might be heat treat. It's probably a very high quality raw Chert. That's my opinion. Okay. But you'll enjoy looking at that more closely if you get it. Next item, 2F07. These are both Cody complex points. This is a Scotch Bluff, right? And this is an Eden. The difference is the Edens are more narrow and smaller. But you can see this is painstakingly flaked, both on the stem and the blade. So with Cody complex, they had extreme skill in developing the bases, stems, and the blades. This one has some damage. That's a fracture probably from a ding. I don't know if that's after they found it or before they found it. And the original napper looks like he made a little bit of a mistake right there. But as far as mistakes go, that is the only one that I can see on the whole piece. It's that one right there. And obviously he didn't care. So this is an Eden. And I think this is a Scotch Bluff. And it looks like it's been resharpened. Scotch Bluff sometimes starts out rather wide in comparison. These casts are very interesting because you can see how they developed the edges. And you can kind of figure out how they made these. Because the flakes are very, very intentional. You can see how they set up and alternated, each flake. Like, see, there's a ridge on the other side opposite the valley on this side. It's the same way every time. So the edge is kind of zigzaggy. It's not perfect, but you can see how they did it. And it's very intentional, so it's probably pressure flaking. Although I have done this pattern with indirect percussion. Okay, so that's it for the casts. We have some boxes. First box of bifaces and brokes. I think I have brokes in there too. 2F08. Let's see. Focus. 2F08. Box of brokes and bifaces. This one is a low quality Texas Chert. Raw. Kind of chalky. This one is another lower quality Chert. Texas from the center of the nodule. This one's a medium quality. It's a little bit easier to nap than that one, but it still has a little bit of some defects going on. It's raw. These are all raw pieces. Medium quality Chert. Let's see. Is it the same? These are not the same. They're from all these are different nodules, yeah. They may look the same, but they're not. This one is a medium quality and it has fewer defects than that one. This one is a low quality. It's translucent though. It should heat treat well. I mean, all of these should heat treat well if you decide to heat treat them. But this is extremely tough in the raw state. This is raw right now. It was extremely tough to nap. These other ones are not translucent, I don't think. Maybe partially. Yeah, this is the only translucent one. Right. And I have one broken little biface in here. I think this is hornstone. So we'll give you an idea what hornstone is like. I snapped that yesterday. Okay. So I think I can fit all these in the one box. They all should heat treat nicely, except this one here. I'm not too sure about this one. But this one will work raw. Okay. Alright, so next box is also broke some bifaces. 2F09. This box contains bifaces and maybe 1 or 2 broken points. Raw Texas Chert, medium grade. Yeah, from the center of the nodule. These are going to be all different nodules, from different nodules. This is a high grade Chert. Yeah, it does get a little bit tough here in this darker area. You can try heat treating it, although I think this one will work best in a raw state. This one here, it's not too difficult to nap. This is a medium grade as well. I didn't have any issues with that, except there's some issues here where there's a couple of inclusions and chalkiness within this seam here. It's a kind of a crack. But as it reduces down, you should be able to get rid of that. It doesn't go all the way. I mean, it's healed. It's not cracked all the way down. It's healed in these areas. This one's a medium grade Chert. Again, these should all heat treat well. And this is a low grade, very tough Chert. Low grade because it's kind of grainy. And it does have issues with being able to run long flakes. Yeah, but it should be fine if you like dealing with this kind of stone. It's about 7 inches. This is the largest one I have in this auction. All right. This one is actually a very high grade Chert that I snapped. Yeah. Trying to make some points this weekend. And I was working on another arrowhead this weekend. Little Perdice point. This is a coastal plains, but it's not from the latest batch. This is from a coastal plains Chert that I got a long time ago, maybe 5 or 6 years ago at a nap in. And as I was trying to sharpen the barb on this side, oops, it snapped because it's a chalky material. It's not all that nice quality stuff. It's a chalky, opaque material that snapped on me. But you may still be able to use it for something. Okay. Yeah, this one I think it's a heat treat. Texas heat treat. It's kind of a greenish. I think that shows up in the lighting. All right. Last but not least, we have 3 boxes of flakes. 2F10, 2F11, 2F12, and these will all be similar to each other. This is all amoeba Chert, raw, high-grade amoeba Chert for the most part. Now, there are some in here that are difficult, But for the most part, it's high-grade Chert. Some of these are going to be more difficult to nap than others. Some of these flakes, because there's a mix of different nodules. Like this, yeah, 2 different nodules, and you kind of see which nodule is which by the cortex-looking stuff. This cortex is extremely thin, and this one's a little bit thicker. This is tougher than this stuff. I think it will all heat treat, but I don't recommend heat treating this greenish stuff. It works very good raw. The other stuff, though, probably good to heat treat this stuff. Anyway, it's all Central Texas amoeba type Chert. Some of it can get a little bit translucent around the edges. And these 3 boxes will all contain very similar flakes. Okay? All very similar to each other. I try not to include flakes with concrete. This one does have some in this flake, but again, if you heat treat it, it kind of evens out. Okay. I think these are going to be full. I think I filled these pretty much to capacity. But if I can jam any more in there, I will. If I can. Okay. This particular box will be 2F10. Okay. All right, so that's it for the auction items. 12 items. I lost my notes on the rules. You can read the rules down in the description. I do have some notes that I can go over quickly as far as the rules go. All right, the auction ends at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 Central, 7 Mountain, 6 Pacific. It ends at that time, and I'll announce the winners beginning at 9 p.m. Monday. Today. Okay? It's not a live auction, but you bid in the comment section, and I will monitor the comments. I'll pre-populate the comments with the item numbers and a little timestamp, so you can hit the timestamp and it'll go right to where the item is in the video, so you don't have to watch the whole video. Try not to bid at the last minute. I'm using YouTube's time tracker, so YouTube keeps track of when you posted your comment. I'm using that time tracker to see if you were on time. As it gets down to 9 o'clock, sometimes YouTube's time tracker is not very accurate. You think you're bidding at the right time, and YouTube says nope. And I'm going to use YouTube's time, because that's what everybody sees. So to be fair to everybody, I'm going to use YouTube's time. And there's some issues there. So just be aware that there's some issues sometimes that YouTube's time is not always accurate. Okay? Shipping is free in the U.S. International shipping is not free. I'll add $10 for first class package. I'll add $20 for small flat rate box, or $40 for a medium flat rate. I will provide tracking numbers. I will like your comment if I see it. You know, if I see your comment or your bid, I will like it. That's how you know that I've seen it, okay? There was issues in the past where I don't see comments, and that does happen. Sometimes YouTube won't post your comment. For some reason, some people can see it, some people can't. If I cannot see it, I cannot like it, right? So that means, hey, you didn't like my comment, so I guess you didn't see it. Try it again. Try to comment or bid again. If I see it, I will hit the like button. Okay? I'll announce the winners in the comment section starting at 9 p.m. when the auction ends. And I'll start with the first item and go down the line to the last item. So by the time I get to, like, on this auction, item 12, it may take like 15, 20 minutes for me to get through all of them. It doesn't mean that I'm not seeing your bids. It just means that it takes time for me to go through and respond to everybody. And sometimes the connection, the internet connection, is kind of slow, or the Wi-Fi is slow, or whatever. Especially out here in rural Vermont, it's not that great. Okay. So I hope you guys had a good weekend. Hope you like the items, and good luck.